Melissa Rose, and you're listening to Good Times, Great Movies.
To Good Times, Great Movies. Here we are, coming together as we do every 2 weeks to talk about a movie from the 1980s. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Good times and great movies.
Sometimes. Every now and then we talk about a movie people have heard of and a movie that's pretty good.
This time we do. But before, I am one of your co-hosts. I am Jamie Lorello. On the other end of things is a DP McCambridge. How you doing, DP?
I'm a little scared. That's why I put a football helmet on myself. That way, when I slide across the floor and my dad catches me, I might not break my head.
I enjoy this part of this movie when they have fun with there's that little section of time where they're having fun with the poltergeist in their home before it tries to murder them and really freak them out and suck them through into another portal.
What has Jo Beth Williams been doing all day with this kid?
She's like,
all day.
I love it. I feel like, because we see that scene the night before. I love how they set up this family. I kind of well, you know what? I'm jumping right in. I'm just jumping right in. I'm ready. I introduced us, and then we're talking about it.
Right. We're talking about Poltergeist.
Yeah.
1982, directed by Tobe Hooper. Now, there is some controversy. I think we have to mention this up front. People in the horror community, Tobe Hooper fans, Steven Spielberg fans, there is this, I don't even want to call it a rumor, that even though Tobe Hooper's name is on here as the director, people say this is really a Steven Spielberg directed movie. Now, there's no evidence to that, and I'm not going to take anything away from Tobe Hooper, but the family dynamic and stuff, like, this is such a Steven Spielberg. Like, I feel like E.T. is right down the street. Like, the way this family is constructed, this neighborhood, like Mac and Me could also be being filmed right down the street too. True.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give credit to Tobe Hooper here, but I don't know. Steven Spielberg's got his mitts all over this thing.
His filthy Spielberg mitts. I'm imagining they're hairy. I don't know why.
You gross monster, you.
No, I feel that too. I agree. And it is a Spielberg production, correct?
It is. So. Sure, yeah. You put this guy's name on stuff, people are going to go see it. Yeah, I don't think we've talked about a Steven Spielberg movie yet, have we?
No, we have. Oh. Wait.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Let's just, you know what? Guess what? This is number 2 for us and Tobe Hooper, though. He did that Funhouse movie where that monster lived underneath the funhouse.
This is why we truly are good times, great movies, because sometimes it's just a good time. It's not always a great movie.
Yes, we're
Thanks,
like,
Toby.
Steven Spielberg, that hack?
Yeah.
The guy who made Funhouse, this is the movie we're going to watch.
This is what we got to see. This is it. No, but does this open? No, because we've already done one for horror season. No, this is our opening.
No, this is it. This is our
season.
Opening.
Yes, welcome to horror season.
Is October 1st, baby, and we get 3 scary movies, 4 if you're a patron, and if you are a patron, there's another episode right now. You're listening to this right now.
Correct.
On the same day in our Patreon feed, us talking about Monkey Shines has come up. So if you are interested in that, consider $5. You get, I looked recently.
Yeah, you did.
There is almost 40 full-length bonus episodes that we have done.
And the full lengths are amazing. There's singing. There's secret commentary that only you get to hear as the patron. There are bathroom breaks.
Right.
Those maybe are not as fun for everyone, but there's lots of fun.
Now, some people may think that Jamie's talking about the 40 patrons only episodes. No.
No,
She's
I'm
talking about the regular
regular
episodes all of the stuff that you people don't hear if you're not giving us money. You're not hearing the 10 minutes at the beginning,
Right.
5 minutes at the end, and like Jamie said, pauses for song breaks, pauses for pee breaks. Who knows what you're going to get?
You don't know what you're going to get. It's almost like it's the all the in-betweens, it's the under the sheets of Good Times, Great Movies. You're just getting top cover if you're not a patron.
I mean, it does get pretty sexy for our patrons.
If you go under the shed, don't you say?
First of all, I'm assuming, unlike sometimes when we cover a movie, most everyone, if not everyone, has probably seen Poltergeist. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Maybe just hit pause on this thing.
Yeah,
Put
you
down
should.
your phone. Watch this. It's on Amazon Prime. That's where I watched it. It's available anywhere.
Lots of
so maybe
streaming.
just check it out, because
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil the ghosts and the different types of monsters we see in this movie. There's a lot happening.
And I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but spoil our thoughts. We often do and say throughout the whole thing that we won't. But it's just a good movie. It's just well
good.
done. It's just, that's why you should see it if you haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that kind of like, this is before PG-13, so I could only imagine a lot of parents got tricked into taking small children to this.
I
And
could
at
see
one
that.
point, it was like, maybe we should get out of here.
Yeah, this
is a
might
little
freak her
intense.
out a little bit. Yeah, I could, and I think, you know what? Because I don't remember when I did see it, but it wasn't when I was a little kid. Because even I mentioned to my mom that this
Right.
was the movie that we did for our podcast this week. She goes, "Ooh, scary!" Like,
She was just thinking of Craig T. Nelson, though. She's like, that guy from Coach? I don't know.
I don't know about that. No, she. I don't think as a child I watched this. I mean,
Right.
maybe as I don't remember actually when I did see it first. Do you? Do you have a like?
I do not. I don't remember the first time. I remember showing it to my sister. I was in charge of babysitting once. My parents left.
Smart,
and
sweet.
I thought it would be a good idea to show my sister, who is 4 years younger than me.
And you put her in a blonde wig, and you're like, "We're
Right.
gonna play Poltergeist tonight. And don't worry about the light that's coming out of your closet."
Yep, I wheeled in another TV and just put static on it while we watched. And
You're
I
like,
remember
"Just
it was
stare at this."
right, yeah, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. If you get scared, stare into the static. I remember it
Do
was
you
a
hear the
little
voices
intense
yet?
for
No.
her.
Well, yeah.
So, but I don't remember what age I was. But
Old
that
enough
was,
to make stupid decisions. I guess.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I'm sure that wasn't the first time I've seen it, and I may
Right.
have even seen it a couple times since then. Before I watched it just a few days back. So this opening here felt very comfortable to me, because just as Craig T. Nelson falls asleep in a chair in front of the TV, I do that on almost a nightly basis.
Aw, you're such a dad. I love it.
It is such a dad thing. And I sort of said earlier as a negative that this feels very Steven Spielberg-y.
Yeah.
But I so appreciate the way that this family feels so real.
I love the setup with this family. I love that they take the time to set up with this family. It's so really done right, as far as like we get to know them enough. Everyone's doing a great job.
Their interaction is great. Like just the way that they seem and feel comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Like these people do not seem as though they're acting. This really does seem like we're just spending time with an actual
Stumbled
family.
upon this family
Yeah.
getting ready. Yeah, their whole, even the setup of their house and the set design of their, their abode, if you will, all of it.
Later on, I absolutely love when Craig T. Nelson and Joe Beth Williams are just smoking joints, getting ready for bed. Like, it's just so adorable.
And he's very goofy and funny and doing that weird thing in the mirror with his belly. And and the kid walks in on them at one point, and they're, they seem like groovy parents. If I'm reading the room, they had the oldest daughter, the teenage daughter, when they were very young, maybe when they got together. And then they waited a bit because they have a daughter who's like 16.
I don't know how old Dominique Dunn is in this movie, because in real life she's like 17, but she doesn't look 17. She looks younger, but I think she's probably playing around 17, but she just has a really young look to her. So like there are parts of this movie that are a little bit uncomfortable when those construction workers are like catcalling her. I was like, this girl is 14.
I know it was a little bit. I agree. But then I love it. She gives them like this. Doesn't she dance out the middle finger to them? And her mom's watching with pride. She's like, "Yeah, that's my girl."
It's the guy. He's drinking coffee through the window.
Yeah, not just drinking coffee. He's like putting the spoon in the whatever she's got on the stove and eating,
toasting it. Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah.
Also, I did find there were small bits of humor in this movie, but again, small bits of humor that are just like regular home life. At the end, when Dominique Dunn shows up, like I guess her boyfriend
with the hickey on her neck.
With the hickey, I absolutely adored that. Like I was just like, this is great. And just the fact that she gets out of the car, has a hickey, and is losing her mind, just yelling like, "What is going on here?" I thought that was really great. But even the small details, like when later on when you're in the parents' bedroom and stuff, like there's just toys. There's just like kids' toys sitting around. It's not like a clean house. It's not it's funny because I used to watch Roseanne, as most people did.
Yeah.
And I always found that Roseanne's house like overdid the messiness of like their couch was always just covered in like piles of clothes. Right. And it wasn't like my parents were overly neat or something, but that was always a turnoff and seemed so strange about that show. But this, where it's just like, oh, there's just some toys by the TV there because I guess kids were playing in their room. I was like, that's my house. Like anywhere I turn, I'm like, oh, there's a thing or 12. And if I turn around, there's another grouping of stuff over there. It's really nice, very realistic.
Yeah, very realistic, very comfortable feeling. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So we talked about all the great things about this family. So, and this took place back in a time, kids, if you're listening to this, this wasn't made up for this movie. Back in the day, channels would stop broadcasting at some point.
Oh, yes. I know. Even it took me a minute. I'm like, well, what is that they're watching with the Star Spangled Banner playing? And then I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Eventually, programming would end. So
I don't know if it was like 2 a.m. or something like that, but for a period of like 4-5 hours, something like that, there was nothing on TV. It was just static on every channel.
What a simpler time, right? Because you either just weren't watching shit if you were up at those hours because you were either a farmer or fucking crazy. Like, what are you doing up at 2 a.m. trying to just stay? Or, you weren't going to watch anything and there was nothing for you to watch,
All those 1982 farmers that were just like, oh, why is stuff on TV now? I'm a farmer. I don't need it.
Those farmers that came out of the 80s,
Oh, no, I get it. I also love how, for some reason, this movie at the beginning tricks you into thinking you're just watching a movie about this dog stealing food from the family.
It's very cute. What a good dog, by the way.
A great dog that communicates with the child.
Dead kid. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And but this dog is fun too because he like goes into each person's room and finds food, like hidden food in everyone's bed.
Yeah, it is sort of like the beginning, the adventures of, I don't know the dog's name. I'm assuming if it's as clever as Tweety, maybe the dog's name is Barky. But you're right. The dog does find pizza and snacks and chips.
A whole bag of chips. It spills chips all over the floor and just walks away like, oh, well, like they're on the floor. That's too good for me. Or I'm too good for floor chips, I guess. But we do see the youngest daughter. We get a layout of this family. We talked about how there is an older daughter, and then there is a young boy and his younger sister who share a room together.
Right.
And we see this girl wake up, in the middle of the night, walk downstairs, and like kneel in front of the TV and then start talking to things that we don't see.
Yeah.
And touching the TV. She's very loud too because she wakes up her father. And I love how she's just sitting there going, this is really weird. I don't know what's happening right now. But then her mother walks downstairs and they all sort of see, I don't know if the whole family wakes up or something.
The brother, I think, is there too.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. I don't know if this older sister is there.
Yeah, but she's really yelling. Like she's like yelling at this TV and laughing and having a great time. So
and they're a little bit creeped out. They're watching her like, what the fuck is Carol Ann doing?
Yep.
But they also the next day are just like, Well, Carol Ann, well, what was, they don't really address it.
No, they don't. Well, there is, I mean, the mom, Jo Beth Williams, again, I don't know the characters' names. I apologize.
Diane, I think her name is Diane.
I'm not going to remember that. So Diane, she is worried later because they're digging a swimming pool. And she's like, if this kid's sleepwalking, because she's even like, I did it when I was a kid.
Right.
There's some dangers around
Right.
here. She could very well just walk outside and fall into the pool or something like that. So, and I think even Craig T. Nelson's like, all right, that's a bit much. Relax. Like, we haven't even dug the pool or put water in it yet.
Right. You gotta
calm down. Right. And she did it one time. So it's totally fine. So now I love how the very next day we're introduced to, I don't know, some comic relief weirdo riding a children's bike with just
bringing beer to the
piles
game.
Of beer.
Yeah. It is. It's very random, and we also kind of get introduced to the sweet town they live in. I told you I wrote it down. What's the name of their town? Cuesta Verde.
Okay.
And just how adorable, and like you said, kind of Spielberg-esque, kind of could be a little ET village or what have you.
Oh, this is such like a indictment on suburbia movie. Like it really is. Like it's just all the houses look the same. All these guys are getting together to watch football.
Right.
Everyone's
Sport.
white. I don't think we see a person who not white in the entirety.
Not one
Oh, wait, we
person
do.
of color.
One of the paranormal investigators comes in.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
But it really is. Like, if you thought, like, American Beauty was an indictment on suburbia, this was well before that, and I think it does a better job of it.
There you go.
But this guy, these kids, I love how these kids torture this man by like having a remote control car cause him to crash, and beer is spraying everywhere.
And he's just trying to hold on to the beer he's got. He doesn't. He walks into the game area, where they're watching the game with beer splashing all over everyone.
Spraying all
he
over.
must have been the only guy in charge of beer, clearly.
Oh, yeah. And why do you send this guy too? This guy had to ride a bike? I'm sure he had several DUIs and does not have a license anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Exactly.
And this is a early 80s home. There is carpeting everywhere, and beer is all in that carpet then. I can't.
You can't. Just thinking about cleaning. Just the smells alone. Where's that dog when you need him?
So now we're introduced to something that's kind of creepy because the channel's changing, Jamie. They're just trying to watch, I think, the Raiders against the Rams. I don't know. Are there aliens? Are there ghosts? What's happening?
Well, it's changing to Mr. Rogers, too, which is...
It's changing to Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, it's not aliens or ghosts. No,
Just a goofy comic relief where they must have their TVs, he and his neighbor, on opposing walls. So when you point your remote at your TV, it also changes the TV on your neighbor's channel.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how their lines were crossing, but I'm guessing that's how.
So he does have a remote war with his neighbor for a little bit. And then we see that Tweety has passed on.
Oh, yes. Well, then we get to see while Dad's having the get-together with the guys in the game, Mom is hanging out.
She's cleaning.
She's cleaning the house. She's cleaning up after the kids.
Right. It's what men do. Men watch TV and women clean the house while this is happening, right?
And while she's cleaning, Tweety, the bird that is in the room that the two kids share, is not doing so hot. I never thought, now, I've of course flushed a goldfish or two down the toilet, but a bird?
Listen, we talked about that they are good parents. Bad move.
Bad
Joe
choice
Beth.
with the bird
Because
down the toilet.
What are you going to say? What is her end game here? She's going to flush this thing down the toilet and then say what?
It flew away?
To poor Caroline. I opened his cage to clean and he escaped. I don't know what the plan is, because this is not what you do when you have a pet. You have what they end up having, a goofy little funeral for this pet.
It is really sweet. Well, so as she's trying to put the Tweety in the toilet, but Carol Ann comes right into shot. She's right there kind of watching like, what are you doing to Tweety?
And also, if you're going to do this, close the bathroom door. Like, don't take the chance of traumatizing your child.
I just think you're traumatizing your toilet. Like, what, a bird and the flush and the crush? No.
No.
But it ends up working out because Tweety, like you said, gets a little more of a proper burial. It's very cute. Carol
This
Ann
is
puts
so sad. She's so
Twizzler
sad.
in with her.
Oh.
With the, and it's very cute. She goes,
It's so cute.
that if he gets hungry, so that a picture of them, so that if he thinks about me, adorable. If I was a ghost living in that house, I would want that little girl to take me to the other side. I'd be like, she's the one. Look at how angelically sweet she is.
Right. Yes. Yeah, maybe that's why they really are in. They're probably watching all this, being like, you know what? I think we got our mark here.
I think we got it.
You
And
saw how
didn't
she
they
treated
say
that
she
bird,
was
right?
born in the house? Did the parents say that she was born in the house, Carol Ann?
What?
I made that
I don't
up.
remember that.
Maybe I made that
Oh,
up.
so her like essence is part of this house now?
Then that's why.
Oh my God.
The
Ooh.
beast is like, oh, she's innocent and delicious, and like I said, the little ghosts are like, she'll guide us. She's pure light.
Can we say there's a lot of stuff later that Zelda talks about where I'm like, where did you come up with all this stuff? Like, how do you know that one of them is evil?
Oh,
She's like,
Zelda knows
there's so
shit.
many people, and they're good souls, and they just want to go to the light, but there's an evil one.
Yeah,
There's
the
an
beast.
evil one, and it wants to take her, and it takes the form of something that she's not afraid of, a child. And I'm like, what? Where did all
Your
this come
Zelda
from?
is kind
And
of.
it sounds more
it's a
like Dolly
little
Parton. It's just my Dolly
yeah.
Parton,
It's a little
slightly higher.
It's a little Dolly Parton. You gotta tweak it a bit. But I believe in you. We have a whole film to talk about. I'm sure by the time Zelda is really introduced, she'll be sounding much better.
I do love how she's very convincing. Like, she's a wonderful little actress.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
I do
Why
love
don't
how
you
she's
call it
crying until it's buried, and she's like, "Can I get a goldfish?"
That night now, there is a storm is happening.
Yeah. And right outside their room, we see that this kid has some sort of her brother has a relationship with this dead tree that's outside his window that has the face of
Well, he
Freddy
does.
Krueger on the side of it.
I was gonna say it does have a creepy. He's this huge window that God love them. They couldn't put blinds up or curtain or nothing to help
And
with
it's
this.
the biggest window. It's
Huge.
like 20
It's
feet
huge.
high in these
And
kids'
the
rooms.
tree is sort of creepy looking, like you said. It's got all these knots and looks like faces, and it's not like a big oak tree or something with all these cool. It's a creepy looking tree right outside his window.
Also, it's just dead. Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
It's not doing well.
there's
Yeah,
no leaves, there's
no-
nothing. Because he even says to Craig T. Nelson, he's like, "Can we get rid of that?" And he's like, "I don't know. That tree's been there long before we even built this house." I'm like, it's like a glorified stump in your backyard.
Yeah, if you're putting up the pool, just take down. Let's put a deck around the pool or something. Take down the tree.
Maybe Craig T. Nelson's like, you know, it's going to be awesome. We put that pool in. I climb that tree. I jump off. Awesome.
Well, the boy later does climb the tree, so he's scared of it during the storm, but then we see him climbing it later, right?
Yeah, I don't know what. He's only scared of it at night. Listen, some things like terrifying clowns are only scary. Well, no, that would be scary in the middle of the day. Never mind.
Time. Yeah, like just put that clown away, burn it, like you said, but don't keep it out in the open,
Right.
day or night. But
Yes.
yeah, when he goes to bed, Craig T. Nelson, again, they're such a sweet family. He comes, well, this is when the parents are smoking the pot and hanging
Right.
out. And then the boy comes in to say, you know, I'm a little scared, the storm, and da-da-da. So Craig T. Nelson goes to put him to bed and does a really cute rule, which I've heard my parents tell me before, too, about counting between the lightning
I love
and
it.
the
I
thunder.
still do it to this day. I will
It's
still hear thunder, see the lightning, and count, or see the lightning the opposite way. But yeah, I'll still do it to this day.
Now, is that because Craig T. Nelson taught you that? Or
Probably. Probably. Yeah. If you ever saw my dad when he was younger and had hair, he kind of looked a little bit like
Yeah?
Craig T. Nelson. So he could have been my dad, and I just thought it was Craig T. Nelson in
I love it.
Poltergeist.
I love it even more.
I'm like, Dad, remember when you told me about counting lightning and thunder? Oh, and then that tree accosted me and almost ate me, and you had to save me. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Please.
Can we talk about how right around this time after he puts him to bed, he comes back, and for some reason, like, I think Craig T. Nelson's thing, like his foreplay thing, is doing a Donald Duck voice.
Oh, yeah.
He goes from that diving routine into snuggling up on her and talking like Donald Duck, and I was like, is this how sex gets started in this family?
I mean, they're unconventional, so maybe, who knows?
I guess so.
They definitely are fun and cute and all that,
But we cannot, and I know we talked about it at the beginning, we can't talk about this puppet enough. Like,
this weird
you can't
clown.
put this in a kid's room.
No.
You can't put it on a chair facing a child while they're trying to sleep. This shouldn't even be allowed in this house.
Get the clown
Yeah,
out.
I need a line where it's like, oh, Grandma got me that, and it's really creepy. And they're just like, well, she's coming out next weekend. After she's here, you can get rid of it or something like that. But there's nothing. At one point later on, it is in bed with Carol Ann, and I'm like, this is the scariest thing I've ever
This
seen.
thing, I know.
Also, at this point, when the kids are going to bed, did you think that maybe the plastic phone that Carol Ann was talking on was haunted too? Because it just keeps coming to her on an enormous plastic phone. And she's like, Daddy, they want to talk to you. And he's like, listen, I'm busy right now. Can you take a message? And she's even on the phone going, he's busy right now. Can I just take a message? And I was like, how long have these kids been in bed? No one's asleep in this house right now. And I also think it's fun how when he leaves, he opens the door to the oldest girl's room and she like shoves the phone underneath her pillow real quick. And then he tells her to get off the phone. It's very nice. It's very...
Again, they're very adorable little families, getting everybody in bed, tucked in. Doesn't she ask when they're going to sleep, Carol Ann asks for the closet door to be open a little bit so the light in the closet helps like their night light.
Yeah, this is a movie thing that I absolutely hate because, you know, I'm sure not every kid is like this, but I have enough kids to know that, guess what? As kids, they don't like having their bedroom doors shut at night. And that always bothers me in movies because they make such a big deal about Jo Beth Williams, like, how far do you want this closet door open?
Right.
And then she leaves their room and it's like this zoom in on her shutting their bedroom door to the hallway.
Family shuts the door all the way because then mom and dad are going to get high and they don't want the kids to know.
Although they just leave their door open. I guess they're like, well, we got to close one door. Let's close the kids' door.
We'll know if the kids open theirs, yeah.
But I really do like how after this, like, don't worry, you kids will be fine. Don't be scared of blah, blah, blah. The storm is fine. All right, everybody go to bed in your own bed. And just the quick cut to all four of them in bed together then at night.
Yeah,
really
that is
great.
fun. Yeah, we see where they end up, which I'm guessing as a parent too. Well, I don't know. Is that a thing for you guys? Do your kids end up coming to bed with you a lot of time, or do they go through a phase?
Not
maybe?
a lot. They're more phases. Like each one goes through a phase when they're like 4 or 5, where it happens, you know, from time to time. But again, this is just my experience. I'm sure sometimes this happens more often than others.
Well, it
I'm like,
happens here in
shut up.
Poltergeist.
Count the thunder, count the lightning, and go
we've
to
already
bed.
established you chain them to the bed when you tuck them in,
Yes,
so they
loosen my
can't get out.
chains.
Yeah.
The storm's not bad.
But yeah, it is. They're all in bed together, crashed out, and the fuzzy TV comes back on. It's late, and it's like whenever this fuzzy TV comes on, adorable Carol Ann and her
Gotta get up and
perfectly
talk to the
blonde
TV
hair.
people.
She's got to talk to her little friends. Nobody else can hear them. Well, can we hear little...
There's a lot that happens here because this is where like electric hands and electricity comes out and like shoots into the wall above the parent's bed and like leaves a little burn
is this
mark.
when the dog comes in or not yet? Yeah.
Right. No, not yet. But I think it's the next day. But this is where the iconic "they're here" line happens because they all do wake up and see this weirdo sitting in front of the TV again. And this is when she's like, hey, guess what, guys? The ghosts are here now.
They kind of are like, oh, she's doing her weird sleepwalking thing. Like the next day, they're getting ready for their day. They're having breakfast at the table.
Again, kids arguing like annoying kids would actually argue. It's about nothing. They're calling each other booger face and fart brains and stuff like that. And I was
It's
like,
fun.
this is so adorable. And it does. It feels like E.T. again. But weird stuff is happening. Like one of the glasses just shatters for no reason.
Right.
The kids' utensils are bent in
They're
all
all
sorts
bent
of weird ways.
yeah.
this is when we talked about earlier, the oldest daughter, who may or may not be 14 years old, walks outside, and these pervy, like,
Well, now,
upsettingly
why are the
pervy
construction guys there? Because they've decided to take the tree down? Or because they're working on the pool?
They're probably just working on the pool. Yeah,
they're working
but
on
they
the pool.
know all the guys because it appears, and it takes us a long time to figure out that, like, Craig T. Nelson sells homes. Like, I don't know what his job is.
He also mentions, I thought, like, oh, your uncle, like, I feel like it's a family business, the community. He sells homes in the community because we see him after we get spooked in a couple of scenes after we realize that the kitchen, they're haunted or whatever. We see him. I thought they sold their own house, but they don't sell their house. He is selling houses in the community. He's like a realtor or some kind.
Yeah, he's like a realtor, but I almost thought like he had also designed the houses.
And like I think possibly,
but that was never said. So I'm like, yeah.
And then when his boss takes him to the one and is like, this could be your, like, if he designs them, then you would think he would say this would be the living room window or whatever. But
yes, exactly.
Yeah, he does something with the homes in the community that he lives with. That's pretty important. We'll say that.
Can we talk about probably my favorite bit of social commentary in this movie is when all the stuff happens at the kitchen table, and then the mom walks by Carol Ann in the living room, in the kitchen, and she's watching one of those tiny kitchen TVs, and it's just static. And Jo Beth Williams goes, "Oh, don't do that. That's bad for you." And she changes the channel to some horrific war movie.
Oh, yeah.
I found that so awesome that's just, don't watch this. And then there are guys like getting shot and falling over.
Yeah.
I would love to know how they did the chair thing. She's there in the kitchen and cleans up and everything like that, walks in the kitchen, turns around, and all the chairs are like pushed out from the table. So she walks around, pushes them back in, and then
she asks Carol Ann, she's like, did you guys do this? She also subtly asks Carol Ann when they're eating and all the kids are fighting, like, hey, what was that you said about there, here? Like, what is that? But the kids are fighting, so she doesn't really get an answer.
I wanted Carol Ann to like wink at her.
Yeah, be like,
no, you'll find out.
Yeah. But yeah, so the chairs then, after she pushes them in and they come back out, then she comes back in the room and they're all on top of the table.
They're all like wonderfully stacked up, like so precariously perched that if you blew on one of them, they'd probably all fall down. It's really, really cool. I love it. And I love how she turns around and screams. Like, her reaction to seeing this is really great, which makes the flash forward all the more bizarre.
Because now she is a mom that we've seen is a little more, she's open. She's very sort of child-centered in the sense that, like, hey, whatever they want to do. If they want to have the creepy clown in their room, I'll put it in their room. No biggie. No, she wants to put a Twizzler with the dead bird. Let her do it.
Yeah, who cares? It's a half-eaten Twizzler, whatever.
Well, and she definitely, they seem to have more like, new agey maybe beliefs, I'm going to say. So yeah, when first she freaks out, oh my God, these chairs have stacked themselves. But now she realizes it's some kind of energy. I think when Craig T. Nelson first says something too, she's like, well, we don't know what it is. Like, it could be a good energy that we're stumbled upon.
I think this is wishful thinking, I think. I mean, I'm not saying that she's...
before they understand it, and when all it's doing is these silly chair and...
these parlor tricks and all that. But still... So let's get to what we're talking about. Because Craig T. Nelson, after trying to sell homes, he comes home and she's like, oh, you got to check this out. And she has put, like, tape on the floor, like how far things will travel. And she shows him that she like puts a chair here and it slides across the kitchen floor. And he's even looking around like, what's happening right now? And midway through this demonstration, I love how he just backs against the wall and just like slumps down because he can't believe this. Especially when she tells Carol Ann to put on a football helmet and have a seat on the floor.
Adorable. It's pretty adorable.
Because Carol Ann's like, what are we eating for dinner tonight? She's like, hey, put on this football helmet. It's great. We'll get McDonald's. It'll be awesome. Sit down. I'm going to slide you across the floor.
And again, she's playing with this energy at this time. Totally not afraid of it. Totally not saying...
No.
What is happening?
Not afraid at all. Craig T. Nelson has to catch her, so I guess she doesn't fly into the wall or whatever may have happened several times today. And I love this part because Craig T. Nelson's like, you know what we should do? Let's go talk to our neighbor as he eats a giant bowl of baked beans.
Yeah,
and see what's going on at his place.
I love too how they're both like, I feel like they got high before they went over to talk to the neighbor.
Yes, there is a scene missing of them being like, let's go talk to him. First, let's smoke a joint. Like, Craig T. Nelson cannot deal with this because they never even get through what they want to ask him or talk to him about.
They giggle halfway through, and they're like, are you having and the neighbor, like you said, is chomping down on some food.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what you're saying. They're like, you're not having TV, like your kids aren't looking at the phone.
Because it really is like something happened in our kitchen, and then they start laughing, and he's being like bit by mosquitoes. I'm like, is this all happening on set right now?
Yeah.
And they just kept it in the movie.
What is with the mosquitoes?
This is a long conversation where the neighbor's like, I don't get bit by mosquitoes.
There's the next scene where she's putting calamine lotion all over herself.
And I was like, is this leading somewhere? Does something happen where like a giant mosquito invades their home later?
Are the mosquitoes a sign that the dead is coming alive? Is that something we should know?
No, it's not. I don't know what this is. I really do feel like this is just something they were ad-libbing on set, and they were like, this is gold. We got to put it in here. Craig T. Nelson, you are a treasure.
Just swatting your neck where the mosquitoes landed.
This movie might take a little while to get going.
It's an enjoyable get going because
they're
a fun film.
Yeah, I am not complaining, but once this movie starts, it just doesn't let up.
Well, the bags underneath Craig T's eyes just get deeper and deeper.
He looks like a zombie at the end of this.
It is exhausting work living in a home with the poltergeist when your
Later
daughter
on, when
gets
his boss
sucked
comes
in by
over
them.
and Craig T. Nelson's like, yeah, I've had the flu. I'm like, you need to get away from that guy, boss, because look at him. He clearly has the flu. Why do you want to put him in the car and go for a ride? That's dangerous. And so there's a big storm coming, and
are counting those seconds between, and there's not enough between the thunder and the lightning.
There's not. It's getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
So close to where a monster tree.
Oof.
It looks like hands, giant hands come in, grab this kid while Carol Ann is screaming. And while his parents are watching this happen, a tree grabs the boy out of his bed, pulls him out the window, and then proceeds to try and eat him.
The tree is trying to eat him. It's true.
Yeah.
And the parents are running out. Those construction workers have left a muddy pit in that yard. Well, plus it's rained. The parents, both of them, run outside to save the little boy, not thinking that they should worry about their teenage daughter or their youngest daughter.
These ghosts just want to get to Carol Ann. And it's just like, what can we do to keep everybody else busy?
Exactly. Yeah, let's
keep them
distract.
occupied.
Well,
yes.
and she should feel bad, that teenage daughter. I don't know what I would do if I was a teenager, but she does not try to make sure that Carol Ann is okay.
She doesn't do much. I mean, she's a teenager. She's too cool for school and too cool for this family. So she's like, well, I'll hang back. I'm not going to do much. I think she does come outside at one point.
She does.
And is just getting, drenched with the rest of the family.
Right.
But Craig T. Nelson has to climb the tree and pull this kid out of the tree's mouth.
Yeah.
Their reaction once all this is over, because also then a tornado touches down 2 feet from them and pulls the tree out of the ground and takes it away.
So the tree is gone.
But as we said, this is all a distraction because meanwhile, there's a light from inside the kid's closet that acts almost like vortex, or it's its own little tornado, let's say,
Right.
because it starts to pull everything from the room into the light. The clown, the beds. I do love how
all the toys go floating their way.
When it finally pulls her in, it even pulls the mattresses and everything
flattens
into
the
the
mattress
closet
against the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's working on getting her. She's not there yet. She's holding on for a while to her little headboard, screaming for somebody to come help her. Mommy, Dad, mommy, somebody. And they're all worried about the boy getting eaten by the tree.
Yeah.
So they can't get to her.
As you should be. You should be. That's responsible parenting.
Yeah, they're trying to get the one, not realizing the other's in danger as well.
But they realize then that she's in danger. They can't get into the room. The ghosts or whatever won't let them in. But they finally do once everything calms down, and they're like rifling through the closet. And they do think that they find, I guess, her dead body under a sheet.
Oh, they think that she got slammed against the wall.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
yes. But it turns out it's just a clown. And they seem relieved by this.
Well,
I
think
know,
as you
I
should
understand.
Be. They
but
thought they were about to fight.
No, I'm just saying it's not like, oh, thank God we found her. It's like, oh, thank God she's not dead and this is just a clown. But then it's like, wait a second, where is she? Like, she's
exactly.
not where
like,
the voice was coming
missing.
from. Yes. And they look around the whole house and she's gone.
But now the little boy, and this is again another part of his wonderful performance, he goes into, I think, the parents' bedroom, and the TV is on to the fuzz, and he can hear Carol Ann in the TV, and he starts freaking out. And it's like, Mom, Mom.
He's losing it.
And now the mom walks in, and you can hear Carol Ann. So she's like, oh, she's here. Great. Where is she? But where is she? And then we're like, what the fuck? She's in the TV? How the fuck did we get in the TV, Carol Ann?
She's in the TV or in the house or something where we just hear her disembodied voice and she's totally gone.
Yeah. And she's saying, I think, Mommy, I can hear you.
Yeah,
I can hear
it's
you.
very upsetting. A lot of this, like, I can hear you, come save me, help me. And then, like, a lot of times when they're talking to her, it's like, I can't hear you. It's very sad and very effective. It's really, really nice.
Very much so. Yeah, I agree.
So let's cut to, as we said, this is distressing. And as you said, they don't go to the police. They decide these ghost hunters show up, a group of 3 of them. And I thought this was another funny thing, too, where they're like, we once saw this Matchbox car. It rolled across the floor. It went 5 feet over the course of 7 hours. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And how they just casually open the door to the bedroom and there's just toys
All
spinning
this shit
around.
is just whirling around. Like the poltergeist is hot and alive in that room. And you can see, I love it because, like you said, he's telling Craig T. Nelson, like, yeah, we have had like 7 hours of like the Matchbox car. And if you watch it, like I put it in, what does he say? Like I put it in time lapse. And
Yeah, because he's like,
crazy.
you wouldn't see it if you were just looking at it.
Right.
But you
It's
know
just
what?
not obvious to the naked eye.
I know how to
And
use
Craig
editing
T-
software. I'm not sure if that makes me kind of a big deal.
But you should be a process. And Craig T has his they're not quite brown under the eye. They're like he's just got a little bit of the bags happening. And
He's wearing a lot of mascara at this point in
Yeah.
the movie. And
Yeah.
it gets more intense.
And he looks at the guy like, okay. And like I said, opens the door and it's a hot poltergeisty mess in the room. And they're like, okay, all right, we've got something here. And they start to take the levels. I don't know what they take, the pH levels, the
pH levels.
galactic. I don't know what they're taking. They're getting Ghostbusty on the
They're
scene.
like, this deodorant is strong enough for a man, but it's made for a woman.
They're figuring out what energy is in the house with their little devices.
It is funny because they finally hear her. Jo Beth Williams calls to her and they hear her, and these guys are like, what the fuck's going on? And the one guy's like looking behind the TV and he's like, I'm going to go check upstairs. This is amazing.
I do like when she goes to contact her and she looks at them and she goes, you guys are going to think this is a little strange what I'm about to do, but this is what we've been doing since Caroline left because we know how to find her. Like you said, they didn't go to the cops. They've been living without their daughter for, I'm assuming, just not that long. You know, I'm sure they wanted to find her, so they found these paranormal experts. But they've developed somewhat of a routine. They won't leave the house. Mom doesn't want to leave while Caroline is still possibly somewhere in the house. So the dad and the mom and the little boy have to stay together. She mentioned how the older daughter sometimes will sleep at a friend's house because it's fucking creepy to stay in this creepy house. And I don't know why y'all are doing it, except for sweet Carol Ann is somewhere in here.
And that's what I really like about what this movie does, because a thing that I think a lot when I'm watching, haunted house movies or whatever is I'm like, why are they there? Like, why would you stay there? Like, I don't care if you're paranormal investigators. Once shit really hits the fan, you
gotta
should
get
leave.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if somebody's like, you stay here all night and I'll give you $50,000. That sounds good until like people start dying. But
when did you get that offer?
But what I love about this is your kid's still in the house.
Yeah.
Like you can't just all go and stay at a hotel and be like, let's bulldoze this shit.
I know, and I love it because the mama bear's the leader. She's like, I'm not leaving without my little girl. And he's like, well, I can't leave you, and we're not going to leave without him. But, you know, the teenager needs her hickeys, so we'll let her go.
Yeah, we'll let her go to whatever hotel. I love when they talk about the hotel and she's like, oh, yeah, I know that place.
Oh, that's another... The mom's like, how do you? But yeah, the family kind of goes through their routine of how they talk to Caroline, and when the paranormal expert, or Carol Ann, what am I calling her?
Caroline.
Caroline.
Which makes me think she should be in the city.
You're dumb. So I do like we get this I'm gonna stop right there. We get.
I don't know. Is somebody wearing a top hat? What are you talking about?
I'm so distinguished. No, we get to know the difference between a poltergeist and a haunting. And the poltergeist can end at any time, and the haunting takes a long time. I took notes on what we were learning from our paranormal experts.
And plus, these people are explaining this to her, and all she gets from this is, so you're telling me this could end at any time? And I'm like, they just said a haunting could be forever. Why are you taking... Do you know the name of the movie is Poltergeist? Is that why you're jumping to that conclusion?
Yeah. Well, so the crew now decides they're going to stay. They're going to observe the night, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the mom goes walking toward Diane, Jo Beth, goes walking toward the steps while she's talking to Carol Ann, right? She contacts Carol Ann. We all hear her. And now the mom starts to go toward the steps, and this like...
some sort of wind. Let's call it wind.
Yeah, this wavy wind comes through her. And this light, right? Wasn't there a light with it?
I don't think there was a light with it. There's a lot of lights, but I think this one was just wind. And she's overjoyed by this. Like she could feel her and everything.
Smell her.
Yeah, and you can see that with her, there's much more hope. She doesn't look like a walking zombie like Craig T. Nelson does. No. She's still put together. She's still, I don't want to say Craig T. Nelson thinks that they're never going to find her or whatever, but he seems like he has kind of lost all hope at this point. We see that he's drinking quite a little bit later on in this movie and everything. But she's still kind of with it. So these investigators are like, we're going to stay here. This is the bomb diggity. We walked in and we're so excited about a Matchbox car, and this is what we stumbled onto.
We're getting real shit here, yeah.
Yeah, so they set up their cameras. There's a very, very long conversation between the female paranormal investigator and Jo Beth Williams, and the little boy is involved a little bit too.
Oh yeah, when they're trying to go to sleep.
When the kid's like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't I just kill myself and I can go get Carol Ann? And they're like, no, that's not a good idea, kid. Just don't.
Well, he talks about kind of what they do later. Like, you could tie something to me and I'll go in and get her. And this is when the dad
Well, he talks about dying. The kid says, if I die, maybe I can go get her.
I can go over there and get her.
Yes. And they have to say, no, but you can't come back.
Yeah. They look at him like, but it's very sweet that he wants to do it for his sister. It is funny because the two ladies start chatting, and he's asleep first on his mom's chest, and then out of nowhere he wakes up with this like creepy dying idea. But Craig T is kind of on the chair in the living room listening to all this, and you could see he gets really freaked out that his son is like, he's realizing the psychological ramifications.
There's a lot of trauma that the other two movies should just be this family in therapy.
Yeah, exactly. The trauma they experience from. But yeah, the one of our paranormal expert guys is upstairs doing something, I guess, in the room, taking levels of the room or whatever. Yeah. And he comes back.
Oh my gosh.
Downstairs, he's got this, he's like, something bit me up there. I'm not going back up there. And there's literally, it looks like a bite mark on his side.
And it's not just like a little bite mark. It's like a giant shark was upstairs.
It's like a dragon bit him.
His whole torso has just giant tooth marks on it. Yeah. This guy really gets the worst of it of possibly anyone in this entire movie. So at night,
the spirits do not like him for whatever reason.
For some reason, they hate this guy. I think it's because he decides to make himself quite at home here and cook a steak in the middle of the night.
First of all, so they're all just spending the night at the house. They could record the activity, and this guy who was recently bitten by a demon is like, I'm gonna make myself a snack. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I
He's
think
like,
he's
I'm
gonna
all
get
out
some
of
chips
Cheetos.
and a
What
sandwich.
else can I eat?
Yeah. No, he, like you said, he gets a fresh steak and is about to cook up a steak and take some chicken wings because he's got a mouth full of chicken legs.
This guy is really making himself at home. He's like, oh, everyone in the house is asleep on this floor. I have an idea. Let me clang around a few frying pans and light the gas stove.
But this didn't last long, as we know.
No, because the steak
maggots.
starts to walk around. Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Ugh.
He drops his chicken and there's maggots all over it. And then he goes into a closet with a big utility sink. It's like he's in the garage suddenly.
Yeah, it's a weird bathroom that he goes into, like the washroom bathroom.
Yeah, it was like, a powder room with a giant utility sink. And this is where he basically turns into a puppet and rips his own face off.
Starts to peel his face away and then realizes it's all a hallucination of some kind. He freaks out.
And meanwhile, the other guy, I love how the other guy's just sitting there listening to music the whole time.
He's rocking out with his headphones, totally with his back to all of the screens. That is, what is happening in this amazing paranormal house tonight? I don't know. I'm just rocking out to whatever on my headphones.
He's listening to, I don't know, let's say Michael Jackson and like reading a comic book or something.
No, he's drawing a sketch of a
woman. Yeah, he is
drawing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how the ghosts are even like, we got to get ourselves on camera. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
the ghosts
turn all of
turn the camera to the steps, and then everybody wakes up because like an angel comes down the steps. It kind of looks like an angel.
Yeah, it's this magnificent light being.
Yeah. It's really kind of crazy because then when they go back later and they watch the video, it's just a bunch of people.
It's lots of people. Yeah, it comes down. What they see with the naked eye when they're watching it looks like this very slow moving, creature, like light being. And then, like you said, they watch it again. They're like, did we record it? Did it get on camera? And when they watch it again, it's just a series of people in the light.
Bunch of people walking around. Right. So that's a lot for that night.
Yeah, that was a heavy night right there.
It was a big night. They've had a big couple nights in a row here. And now the next day they decide, let's put this kid alone in a cab with the dog and get him the hell out of here.
They're like, he's got to leave. I don't know who they're sending him off to.
Grandma's. He's going to Grandma's house.
Okay.
Yes. But I'm even like, one of you could drive him there. And maybe possibly let your mother know what's going on too.
Could Grandma come get him, maybe?
Don't let this kid explain that like your daughter's gone and he may kill himself to find her and stuff like that. Like maybe go and explain to the grandmother why you're sending this kid.
Right.
But this is also where Craig T. Nelson's boss shows up. Oh, I found out this guy, James Caron, he's a character actor. You see him in a lot of stuff. He's from Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, look at that. Kind of a local. I like it.
Yep. Local guy makes big. So, yeah, he's a little bit suspicious of Craig T. Nelson. And he even does bring up like, hey, your daughter, Carol Ann, like I haven't seen her around or anything. I went to your house.
Well, he's got the hot tip at school. Like,
He's
in
like,
the same class.
I was in the house. I didn't see it. I'm wondering if he's like, did you maybe like murder your entire family?
Yeah.
Like maybe you're acting a little funny. I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen your daughter.
Really
like what's
happening?
going on?
Yeah.
Here?
What do you really have going on here?
But he's not suspicious because he takes him to a hill that's overlooking this entire development. And he's like, all of this can be yours, Craig T. Nelson. You put a house up here. It's great. Oh, that cemetery there, don't worry about it. We'll just move everybody. It's totally cool. We already did it. And guess what? Nobody said a word about it.
Well, and that's when the flashlight goes off, or the white light, if you will, goes off. And Craig T's head, he's like, wait, what? You did what? This was on a cemetery? Ding, ding, ding.
And Craig, can we just say how sweaty and sweat-stained and like baggy-eyed Craig T. Nelson is in this scene? He's out in the sunlight being like, ugh. blood, big pit stains and everything. He's like, I don't know, you know what? A promotion, that sounds pretty sweet. And even the boss at one point's like, we've been moving bodies for years now. And I'm like, that's not just a casual thing you throw out in conversation.
That's how this guy works in this community.
Right. But now, let's cut to the hero of the movie. They bring in the big guns because these paranormal people, they realize
they don't really know.
They don't know what the fuck is going on. They are so out of their element because I love how the lady, first of all, there were 3 paranormal people. There was the white guy who ripped his face off. There's the black guy who draws pictures of witches or something like that. And then there's the woman who seems to be in charge. Like she's like their boss. I love how it cuts back to the house and she's there trying to like calm down Jo Beth Williams. And she's like,
they
listen.
make a nice little bond. They share some booze.
And she's like, listen, I have to go. I have to do some stuff. We need equipment. I may or may not go get somebody that can really help us out. And she's like, that guy there, the guy who draws pictures of witches, he's going to hang out. Oh, the other guy, he's not coming back here anymore.
He got too creeped out. Yeah.
Really just casually. And she really does say he's not coming back. Like this guy was really messed up by this ordeal.
Yeah. This really affected him. Not in a good way.
They bring in Zelda Rubenstein and the way they introduce her is hilarious. And I have to say, Craig T. Nelson's performance and reaction to everything she's doing early is so funny. He is stifling a laugh at every turn. This guy who has just given up all hope of finding his daughter and looks like death is cracking himself up.
He can't handle her. He makes a comment to the other boss lady from the paranormal team and it's like, I don't understand it completely. He says, what is this Knott's Berry Farm? And why is that? Is it because she's a little person? Is it because she's not big?
Of course it is. But I even love how, because we don't see her for a moment and everybody walks into a room and Craig T. Nelson stands in the doorway and then like moves aside so this tiny woman can walk into the room. It is a fun reveal. He's smiling. She asks him, what does she ask him to do to talk to her? Or something like that. This is when he starts laughing,
right?
And thinking, because he's like, I tried to communicate with her through thinking, and she can't even read my mind. Who is this charlatan? And she, even from upstairs, is like, hey, I don't like reading minds, you piece of shit. I can hear everything you're thinking.
Yeah, she's like, I don't like the tricks. I'm not into it. Yeah. But she's legit.
Amazing in this movie. This is a star-making performance.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason in my mind, like I said, I've seen this before. I've seen this a couple times before. And I kind of didn't remember she was just in it for like this 15-minute segment. I mean, it's a big, huge 15 minutes. I get it.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
And she doesn't come back in the end to help them finally or to see what has come of what she's tried to do here. But her performance
she doesn't
is
check up on her clients. I'm just checking in to see if everything's okay.
No, but when she hears, she's like, Jesus, I heard the neighborhood got demolished. What happened to y'all? I'll meet you at the hotel. Make sure I sage you all before you go on and stay at that Hilton.
How many people were killed? That many people? Oh my God.
It's crazy. Getting better.
Anyway,
That's less Dolly. That's less Dolly.
I know.
You're transitioning.
I just have to do a Dolly impression.
No, you're doing better. It's getting better.
So she really just lays out this shit for everyone. Because this really is where she's like, there's all these spirits and they have to go toward the light. And Caroline, she's the one that can lead them toward the light. And there's a monster and he's really evil and he's feeding off of her pure energy. Like, it's really fun. And she at the beginning is like, just kind of like, hey, I'm going to lay all this shit on you and it might be a lot, but already you've seen a lot of stuff, so you're probably just going to be into this. I love it how she tells Jo Beth Williams to kneel down on the ground so they can talk face to face.
Yeah, she's like, oh, come on, don't let me hurt my neck.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah. But then she explains to her, she's like, I'm going to ask you to do things that might go against what you believe and how you feel, but you have to promise me that you're going to listen to me. Use your mama heart. Like you said, she is excellent because she delivers all of her lines with such a...
And she really is like taking charge, but also is very sweet about telling these people, like, I'm here for you. This is going to work. You might have to do some weird shit, but I know you want your kid back, so I'm on your side. We didn't mention earlier, this is very important, where at one point Carol Ann does say that she sees the light.
Yes.
And the other lady, the first paranormal lady, is like, whoa, don't tell her to go toward the light. That is bad news.
Yeah, the light's bad. But...
Right. And that comes into play now because Zelda Rubenstein and everything, like there's all sorts of conversation, everything like that. And the whole time the mom is communicating with her. And at one point, Zelda Rubenstein's like, who's she afraid of in this family? Whoever she's most afraid of, you or your husband, you have to threaten her. And Craig T. Nelson is so resistant. He's like, what? I would never, who spanks your children? I would never hit my kids. And even Joe Bethany's like, you motherfucker, would you just threaten our child so she can come back to us? It's
That's the
really
bottom
fun.
line. Well, because she's not answering, she's not listening to them when they're trying to communicate. So she's like, you need to make her, whoever she's scared, he's scared, the beast or whoever the evil over there is scaring her. So you need something that's going to scare her more than that.
And this is
He does
where
spank her
she
because
tells her,
it works.
I know, right? This is where she tells Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson to tell her to run toward the light.
Yes.
And even Jo Beth Williams is like, no. She's not supposed to do that. And she's like, tell her to run toward the light, tell her to run toward the light. And you can see this other woman in the background, like looking around like, oh shit, I really fucked up. I should have told her to go toward the light earlier. I could have avoided all of this. But that's not what they're doing, or that's not what she's doing. The whole plan is to have Carol Ann lead these other people, these other lost souls, toward the light so they can move on to, you know, whatever the afterlife is or whatever's going on. And then they'll go in and they'll get her because they have a plan.
That involves tennis balls and a rope. Well, she takes a whole inventory of the house when she first gets there, and part of it is where does the energy come from? So there's some sort of vortex, some sort of hole in the ceiling downstairs between the closet and the downstairs, and we're about ready to get kind of balls deep into this now, I guess.
That's a way to think about it. Because Zelda Rubenstein has realized that if you enter the closet, it's like a portal that then takes you into whatever other world this is, or afterlife, or whatever this is.
Yeah, this waiting
But then
world.
you can exit it through the living room ceiling.
Well, she figures this out in a very clever way. She tests it. She tests her theory with some tennis balls. When the tennis ball theory works, 3 tennis balls, each of them labeled with different letters.
Yeah.
Get thrown because you got to make sure another different tennis ball didn't come out.
No. Yeah.
So she throws the tennis balls down and they each come out. And some of this goo that you had mentioned being real creepy to you comes out on these tennis balls, but miraculously this theory is solid. The tennis balls come out. This is some sort of porthole connecting that realm to this realm.
The guy who sent downstairs to like go downstairs and you can catch these tennis balls. How amazed he is when they come down. He's like, it's my handwriting. My handwriting's on here. He loves it. He's having so much fun. And even the other paranormal investigator is told to go downstairs because she also throws a rope through this. A rope that they can then tie around. First, Zelda Rubenstein's like, I'm totally going in here. And I love how Jo Beth Williams is like, no, I'm going in. And this is also a funny part because Zelda Rubenstein's like, you've never done this before. And she goes, but you haven't either. And she goes, oh, okay, yeah, you go. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I guess you should. But it's a good idea because they want to get Carol Ann. And
of course.
Carol Ann's not going to go with this weird tiny woman. She's going to go with her mom. You know?
That would be somewhat scary, I think. If you hadn't seen her before,
she already has all
and she
these
comes
other
through.
creatures trying to. Not that she's
These
a
other
creature, but
creatures. Oh my God, what is this creature?
I'm not trying to call Zelda a creature at all. I meant that she's got all these other. Lots of things are vying for Carol Ann's attention.
Yes,
And what she wants is her mommy.
Yes, and
Yes.
now I guess we are to believe that all of the good spirits are now gone. So now she's basically just left alone with whatever evil thing is in there with her.
Mm-hmm.
So Craig T. Nelson is also told he has to hold the rope so that she doesn't get sucked in, but then they have the rope also downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
She's got it knotted around her, and off she goes.
Well, it's really actually sweet. Before she goes off, this couple, Craig T. Nelson and Joe Bath,
They're very cute.
They're very in love with each other, and they're hugging and kissing and loving, and I'm going, and this could be really weird, and I might not come back, and we don't know. It's very sweet, but yes, then she goes, and off she goes.
Yeah, off she goes in. There is a bit of an issue here where the rope's kind of like being pulled and freaky things are happening.
Well, he freaks out a little bit.
He
Craig
does
T.
freak out because he almost like tries to go in, but then he pulls the rope and he seems to pull out a giant monster too at this time.
Well, even Zelda is like, not yet. Don't pull anything yet. It's not time. And so he pulls this rope too soon, and he pulls out I think this is maybe the demon, the monster, the beast.
Yes, it is some sort of monstrous creature. And even Zelda Rubenstein's like, whoa, 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 and like backs up against the wall and it's like, I didn't sign up for this.
I didn't call this guy in. Yeah, you need to fucking listen to me when you have that rope in your hand. Yeah,
fucking follow directions, dude. But then they run downstairs, and Joe Beth and little baby Carol Ann fall out, just kersplat onto the carpet, covered in red jello.
The ceiling gives birth to them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they are not breathing, so they have to like carry them upstairs and put them in the bathtub.
One of the things, we had these tennis balls to get ready and a bath to get ready, and now we know why, because they've got to soak in the bath right away.
And it's such a wonderful little like line, because he's like making sure that they're breathing and everything, and he's like, breathe, breathe, breathe. And one by one, first Joe Beth kind of comes to, and then Carol Ann comes to, and when she's just like, Daddy. Like, it's such a cute, like, because even right after this, they're like, she doesn't remember any of this. And that's a good thing.
They're like, she's totally blacked it all out, and they're like,
yes.
fucking God. But yeah,
and I do love how they just, as they're like leaving or as they're closing the bathroom door, how Zelda Rubenstein's like, this house is clean.
Oh, it's perfect.
So cute.
It's so perfect.
And then again, like, she is, at this point, this should be the end of the movie, but we're like an hour 15 into this, or an hour 20, and she's totally out of this movie. If you've ever watched a movie, you know that runtime doesn't make sense. So there's got to be more, but it really does feel like we're getting out of here because there's a moving truck.
Yeah.
And I do like how Craig T. Nelson really is kind of like talking to Joe Beth Williams. He's like, you know what? It is time to get out of here. But first, you know what? Maybe you should color your hair. Maybe you should just take care of that little thing first.
She's got this new white streak now in her hair.
It's cool. Yeah. She looks cool with those gray streaks in her hair. I don't know. So they talk about going to a hotel. He talks about the fact that he has to stay late. Mm-hmm. They're telling their older daughter, like, just go with your friends. It's fine, but be back later.
Right.
And the kid's back. The boy's back. Carol Ann doesn't remember anything. Mm-mm. It's totally cool. So they decide to stay there again. This is such danger.
Well, like we said, not the whole family. He's working late. The teenage daughter apparently has some boyfriend that she goes and stays with at maybe the hotel they're going to stay with later.
Sure,
but yeah,
exactly.
Supposedly they're all moved out, but when she, we see the moving truck, we see boxes in the front yard. But when the mom's then in the bathroom, everything is still decorated. The pictures are still up in the hallway.
I am so glad you said that, because I'm like, they packed up their house except for everything we're seeing right now.
And her bathroom, like, there's all just stuff in it. It's not like in their bedroom, because they show her bedroom, you know, when the monster comes, gets her or whatever. In her bedroom, you see some boxes half, you know.
Yes. No, definitely.
There's definitely, the house still looks very much lived in for a family that's supposed to be staying in a hotel that night. Yeah.
Moving is a process. We get it.
Sure.
But it just seems very strange how everything appears to be in the truck except for all the stuff in the walls, everything upstairs.
Right.
And even later on, we see him like running through the downstairs. And I'm like, well, nothing's packed up. Like, those are just empty boxes.
What is
outside,
happening? Right. And you didn't even think to pack the fucking clown doll? Jeez.
Yes, that's the first thing to get packed in a landfill. That's where that thing gets packed to. But no, it's sitting on this chair again.
Well, the beds are still there, the mattress. So, because like you said, so the mom and the kid, the littles, are going to apparently spend the night, or at least she's going to put the kids to bed while she takes a bath. So the sheets are still on the bed. Creepy clown is still in the bedroom, and mom is going to dye her hair and then take a nice hot bath. I mean, last hot bath in the house, I guess.
Something to remember this house by. We have no memories here, except for the traumatic experience.
I'm not gonna I'm just gonna try to put good memories back.
Yeah, she's like, good memories. Like the time I dyed my hair. Why did I have to do that? Oh, white streaks because I went into some sort of afterlife portal.
The kids. Oh, it starts again.
I think it's funny that there's not a conversation like about what Joe Beth saw in there. Like Craig T. Nelson isn't even like, so what was it like? Like what? Like when you went in there? Like, what was going on?
So,
like there's nothing.
Right. Well, again,
or maybe it's best like, you know what? You went through something, and if you want to talk about it, you can. I'm not going to press though.
Right. When you're ready, you open up. Right.
So as we said, the creepy clown is still there. It's on the chair. He again tries to throw, I'm going to say, the Chewbacca jacket. First of all, I kind of want that Chewbacca jacket. Just a regular jacket, just with an iron-on patch of Chewbacca on the back of it. Really big. It's super cool. He misses, though. So he doesn't cover the clown. And then he looks back. It's gone. The clown pulls this boy under the bed. Again, it is just this monster or whatever it is trying to get everyone else out of the way because it is in love with Carol Ann.
She's adorable, that's why.
Yeah. This kid's being choked to death by a clown under his bed, like fighting with a stuffed clown, which listen, if the IMDb rumors are true, this child almost died, but it is kind of funny to watch him like fight with a clown puppet. It is kind of great. And meanwhile, the mom, she's being like thrown all over the place, all over this room. She's dancing on the ceiling. Like she's all over this room.
Yeah, it's literally sucking her up the wall, all over. Well, first she's got her hair all done and she lays on the bed in her little football jersey on. She's like, last night in the creepiest house I've ever lived in. Let me just stretch out on my bed while my children sleep in the room they almost just died in. And then this force comes and basically is trying to keep her from the kids, right? It's
exactly.
Like you said, it's kind of dances on the ceiling with her. Mm-hmm. The kids are starting to get sucked back into that closet light.
It's the same thing again. Like I can't believe
it didn't work. I'm like, no, this house is not clean. You have to come back.
The whole time she was gone, she was like, our kids' room, like that place is totally off limits. If you go in there, maybe you'll get bit. And what does she do when everything calms down? She's like, you know what room you guys love? That room that you sleep in together.
That's where you should be.
Have them stay in your room. Sleep downstairs again. She puts it in the room with
you
the
were
evil
stretching
portal.
out on. Yeah. No. Her kids are in danger. Yeah. I do like it when she's trying to get to them at one point, and the hallway keeps kind of getting longer.
Oh, yeah,
she can't
really
quite get to them. Yeah.
Yep.
But then
it's
even
like
when
the
she's
shot
in there,
Jaws, where he's sitting on the beach chair, and it has that like, what do they call that? That's a forced perspective. I don't think that's right, but it's something like that. Yes, but it's the same shot.
Yeah,
it's the same shot, which makes people be like, "Did Steven Spielberg direct this?"
He had a hand.
Things like that to do that. Is this when she tries to go to their room and there's a legit monster outside of their room?
Blocking her away, but she does get in, and now it's keeping them apart, and it's trying to pull the boy and Carol Ann in. Yeah, she gets a hold of their hands. Hid the boy's hand first.
Yeah,
And
she's
then-
able to sort of pull them out of the room using them as a chain, like grabbing the boy's hand and then he grabs Carol Ann's hand and she's able to pull them out of the house.
And is this when Craig T shows up, like home from work, and he just sees like crazy light action happening in his house? Like,
Yeah. Now, wait a second.
When did she get stuck? No, when did she have to go into the pool with the dead bodies?
Right. This is a little bit before this. Is
Okay.
that she goes to try and get the neighbors because she's yelling for them and they're probably just busy eating baked beans and weren't able to
Right.
help her out. But this is when she falls in the pool and dead bodies are popping up and she's like swimming with skeletons.
Yeah.
And then the neighbors do help her out. And I like how she's like, oh no, my kids are in deep shit. And you hear the neighbor guy being like, well, I'm not going in that house. And
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, he's
he
like, yeah,
wanders
no.
back to his own place.
They refuse to. They're like, yeah, no, I'm not. I can't help you, lady. It's too creepy in there.
But this is where, like you said, Craig T. Nelson shows up, and he's running through the house, and legit coffins are popping out of their floor
Yeah.
and opening up, and skeletons are jumping out at him. It's really, really great. It's super crazy. Like, it's a fun, goofy way to end this movie. Because, as we said, Dominique Dunn shows up with a hickey and is screaming outside.
Well, the boss shows up. The whole neighborhood now is like, what the hell? Because now it's really happening all over the neighborhood, not just the
Yes.
house. Like the house, another storm is coming, and there's other.
Right.
The whole neighborhood's just kind of falling apart. And his
it's
boss
totally-
comes by,
yeah.
and Craig
The
T. Nelson
boss-
freaks out on him, and
Yes.
is like, "Oh God, you did not you move the bodies? How could you do that?"
Yeah. How could
And
you move the headstones and not the
Yes.
bodies? And the boss is almost like looking around like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to get back in my van
Right.
and head out of here. No questions asked. So they all like jump in their family, not minivan. What were the things before minivan? Station wagon.
Yeah.
And they just like tear off, and we watch the whole house like implode upon itself
Yeah.
and then explode, and the boss like flies back and everything like that. And we're not sure how many people died in this accident, but I'm assuming a couple did.
Yeah, it didn't look pretty, that's for sure.
And can we talk about the ending of this movie? Because it's one of the best jokey, funny
Yeah.
ways to end a horror movie. And it's a single shot, which is so nice because they're just getting in this hotel. They're walking up to the second floor of this hotel. They check into their room and the door closes. And the camera's even just sitting there. Like you're just waiting for something. You're like, well, movies don't just end this way. And of course, the door opens and Craig T. Nelson wheels the TV out.
Pretty
and
great.
then turns around and slams the door.
Pretty great.
It's pretty great, yes.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's Poltergeist.
Such
from
a good
1982.
movie. I don't
Yeah,
think either one of us didn't like it. And rewatching it doesn't make it any, and it just great performances, well written, well done. Just a good movie. Just a good scary movie.
Yeah. No, a really good scary movie. And again, I would suggest, because I did consider this watching with my kids. It didn't work out, but I just
Oh yeah.
it's PG. I don't it's a touchy PG.
Well,
Like,
because it's one of those that if the kid, if you're not, even as an adult, I told you I'm still like close the closet before bed after watching it because it just is creepy. That's the other thing about them being presented as such a normal family and such a family like we've been saying, like if they feel very real. Well, this whole thing feels very real. I'm like, was this based on a true story? What's happening here?
based on a true story. I mean, you could say that. Whatever, go for it.
Right?
Who cares?
Yeah.
People will be like, I guess this happened somewhere.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really nice, and it's very it's very true to life. Like we said, the family is fleshed out. You actually care about the characters and you care about their relationships. And sometimes that's tough to do in a horror movie. It's
Yeah.
not just stock people there to be killed and everything like that. And like we said too, like the ghost, like this is a movie about ghosts, but that tree and that clown are the scariest
Oh,
things
yeah.
in
Those
this movie.
freak me
which
out.
Is, yeah,
They-
which is absolutely fantastic.
agree.
So I love it. It's really great. My recommendation, this might seem like a cop-out,
Oh.
but I don't think enough people have either seen or reappraised what I think is the second best Poltergeist movie in the series, Poltergeist 3. Poltergeist 3 is good. Now, I understand why some people don't like it because it's Heather O'Rourke, it's Carol Ann. She goes to stay with her aunt and uncle. Like the rest of the cast
in the
is
fancy hotel or in the fancy condo or something in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's all like with mirrors, which wasn't a thing in either of the first two movies, so it's totally different. But her uncle's Tom Skerritt and her aunt's Nancy Allen, and I think her cousin is that skinny woman, Laura Flynn Boyle. It's so good. It really is wonderful, and I love the fact that, because I don't think the second one is very good. I know a lot of people like it. But
no,
at the
I
end
agree.
of the second,
I like the third one more.
Yeah. At the end of the second one, I was kind of like, all right, I'm done with this family. Like, I'm kind of done looking at Craig T. Nelson. Can we do something different? And they try and do something different. It's really, really great. There's like a frozen swimming pool. People crawling out of puddles. It's all like there's one of you, but your reflection's like an evil one of you, which again is totally different than anything we're doing in the first movie. But I really love it a lot, so people should watch it.
So Poltergeist 3, give yourself a weekend. Maybe don't watch the second one, or maybe take a nap when the second one is on.
So what about you? Any suggestions, any recommendations?
Well, we recently, how hip are we? We're watching that new cool show with Nicole Kidman, that 9 Perfect Strangers.
Okay.
And
you should have just said that new cool show, Perfect Strangers. Maybe you heard of it. Balky Bartokovitz.
That's what I recommend. A little story about a foreign man coming into a country that no 9 Perfect Strangers is actually, it's very good. My mom actually recommended it, and now we're hooked. And so the character that Nicole Kidman plays, this is my relation, how I'm relating it to Poltergeist. First of all, I don't want to give too much away, but we are definitely trying to contact spirits in these strangers at some point are. And the Nicole Kidman character has this pale blonde hair. She's Russian though, but I believe that if Carol Ann were Russian and running a dosing clinic, then this is maybe what she would have grown up to be, is the Nicole Kidman character. It's a very good show.
Is it like Amazon or Hulu or something?
I think it's the Hulu.
Something like that. Okay, because I keep seeing it. I keep seeing previews for it, and I keep being
each week it gets weirder and weirder.
Okay.
Each week it gets weirder and weirder. All the actors are doing a great job.
Then maybe I'll have to check it out.
I think it's pretty cool. Cool. It's getting really weird now where I'm like, all right, buddies, what are we? But it's nearing the end, so I'm guessing that's why.
So, yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Wait, what am I doing? Wait, we have to talk about what we're doing next.
Yeah, let's not jump too far ahead. We still got to, I mean, we've officially given our recommendations and beyond, just shows we're watching that we like.
There are scary movies still to be watched.
Yes.
And we're going to go from ghosts, Jamie, to vampires. We're going to watch a movie called Fright Night. Which is about a kid, a teen, let's say, and a guy moves in next door. Kind of a cool, I'm going to say hunky dude, moves in next door. And he starts to have a suspicion that his new neighbor is a vampire. That is what we're going to watch next.
Coming at you, because it is Halloween. It's Scary Movie October.
Yeah, and folks, I mentioned it earlier, but over on Patreon, we have our episode on Monkey Shines. So head over, check it out.
Check it.
$5. It's not that much. And like I said, we have about 40 full-length bonus episodes over there, as well as every show we put out early and uncut, unedited.
It's good stuff.
So
it's good stuff.
Hop on board, go over there, check out what we did, and we will talk to you all again in 2 weeks when we discuss Fright Night. Until then, everyone, have a great 2 weeks.
Goodbye.
It's like how long it takes you sometimes to just say goodbye. It's like the wheels in your head are turning, and you're like, what should I...
This is a Mock Beats production.
Come on down to
arrow whack. Leave your pack right there, relax. If you wanna see a body, I can show you where it's at. Heavy thought to bear this ass, can cut through bone like Marowak. They gon' find you in the forest looking like a bear attack. I may just be strange, see I'm a stranger to myself. In fact, I look at myself and only see a stranger staring back. So I don't need to wear a mask. Talk shit and get an arrow snap. I can't be me, I'm okay with that. It's time to crystal keep an arrow whack on the rap like some winter clothes. Pop a pot, keep the kitchen closed. These conditions ain't live up on my Tampa hot like Felissa Rose. Embrace fear, I'll silence a room with a blank stare. Leave your kid at camp floating in the lake there. See y'all at the waterfront, ain't gotta run no more. Chop, body looking uglier than a pair of shorts and a crop top. Sorry for the awkwardness, I ain't very talkative. Morals barely operative. Looking at me like I won't rock your shit. I'll cover your ass in bees while you trying to rock his shit for talking shit. Let's go for a swim, I'll see you at the bottom, bitch. I'm not a bitch. Yo, Angela, how come you so fucked up? Has to be because of my family, I'm a dummy. All you dumb fucks and cum sluts. I hear what people say. I shouldn't be here today, shouldn't be here today. I shouldn't need to say, keep away. Fall on your knees and pray that they don't send you off to sleep away, sleep away. Come on down to Arrowhack, leave your pack right there, relax. If you wanna see a body, I can show you where it's at. Heavy thought to bear this ass, can cut through bone like Marowak. They gon' find you in the forest looking like a bear attack. I may just be strange, see I'm a stranger to myself. In fact, I look at myself and only see a stranger staring back. So I don't need to wear a mask. Talk shit and get an arrow snap. I can't be me, I'm okay with that. It's time to crystal clear this camp. Hope you don't have any standards. A lot of unhappy campers. All of those catty manners have you looking at me backwards. Well, excuse me, bitch. I don't mean to start a fire, but you should have been burning tires. Now you're getting fucked with a curling iron. Sick fuck with a dirty mind. Auntie missed the early signs. She gon' miss me at the gate and not the pearly kind. But you won't live another day to get the dirt of mine. I'll see you in the sequel if you speak another word of mine. Run away if you wanna live through another day. Come and play radio edit, cut away. No, cut. Until the head's severed, have an unregistered molester rolling out on a stretcher with his singed skin still on the floor in the kitchen, and half his face missing. Have a taste, dish in, grab a plate, don't skip in, don't sleep in, no sleepyhead. If she were any quieter, she'd be dead. Ha! Come on down to Arrowhack, leave your pack right there, relax. If you wanna see a body, I can show you where it's at. Heavy thought to bear this ass, can cut through bone like Marowak. They gon' find you in the forest looking like a bear attack. I may just be strange, see I'm a stranger to myself. In fact, I look at myself and only see a stranger staring back. So I don't need to wear a mask. Talk shit and get an arrow snap. I can't be me, I'm okay with that. It's time to crystal clear this camp.
Yeah, maybe. Welcome to our patrons podcast. Old people yell about technology.